Yeah. Now look here, son. There are 3 rules that I live by. Never get less than 12 hours of sleep. Never play cards with a guy who has the same first name as a city. And never get involved with a woman with a tattoo of a dagger on her body. Now you stick to that, and everything else is cream cheese, alright?
What's that accent?
What was the accent?
Because I'm a sport coach. I do sports.
That's coach accent.
That's not, but he doesn't. Welcome to Rough Guts.
Welcome to Rough Guts.
Dogs, they're coming. They're coming your way. They'll be here soon.
For Michael J. Fox, life hasn't been easy.
Hello. Hi. I'm going through changes.
His voice is changing.
Give me a keg of beer.
Is there anything wrong with me?
He's got hair on his chest. He's stopped being a boy.
What do you think about? Did you get worked up?
At last, he's become...
Scott? Scott Howard? This is your father speaking. Now open this door right this minute.
a wolf.
An explanation is probably long overdue.
Dad, an explanation? Look at me. Look at you.
He's got style.
There's something different about you. Did you change your hair?
He's got class.
Wolf, wolf, wolf. Ah! Wolf person. Wolf.
He's got hair all over his body.
Wolves aren't supposed to be shy.
He's a wolf in teens clothing. And tonight is his night to howl. Teen Wolf, a new comedy with Michael J. Fox, star of Back to the Future.
We watched Teen Wolf. I'm Ilion.
I'm Boix.
And I'm Nick Filardi.
Special guest star, expert, comic colorist, professional, Loeb appreciator.
Oh, God.
That's what I was just going to say. I'm like, we had him on because what's the comic tie-in here, Nick? We made sure that we had you for this one because it's important.
So, Jeph Loeb, who's written some great comic books like Batman The Long Halloween, also wrote Teen Wolf, apparently, and you can find his sticky fingers all over some of these lines.
You can feel the quality just kind of jump off the page, as it were.
So he writes good comics, and he's written he's written some movies. Like he's been instrumental in the comic book movies. He's written as part of a team there, but maybe Teen Wolf just gave him a little bit of space to screw around. Maybe he wasn't seasoned. I don't know, but yikes.
Look, we are not Jeph Loeb apologizers here.
Okay. All right.
It was his debut film. Like, to give him some credit, this was his literal
and
first
I
film
can
that
imagine writing a movie is probably pretty tough. But there is a Spider-Man line in there.
There is a Spider-Man line
that he 100% wrote. With great power comes great responsibility. But for Teen Wolf, I guess?
Yeah, the Teen Wolf line.
It was with great power comes greater responsibility.
Yeah,
because I don't think they could actually use it legally.
Legally different.
Well, for one thing, you're going to be able to do a lot of things the other guys aren't.
Oh, like chase cars and bite the mailman?
When you want it, you're going to have great power.
Oh, no.
And with great power goes a greater...
Oh, no!
Jeph Loeb, come on!
Yeah, Jeph Loeb all over that line.
Stealing babies in the middle
What?
of the night. And killing
Is this in the
chickens.
Spider-Man universe, too?
Fearing full moons,
Yeah.
dodging silver bullets. Well, thank you, Dad, but no thanks.
Really, Spider-Man stole from Teen Wolf.
Oh, God, let's not.
Think about it.
The thing that I like about that line is that the movie does not reflect responsibility or greatness for Teen Wolf.
No, it doesn't. Also, I thought about what you said, boy, because you said think about it, and I did think about it, and you're wrong. I thought about it a little bit, and no, okay. I don't think Spider-Man did steal from this.
Wow. Okay, we'll just agree to disagree. That's how it works. So, little known fact, Jeph Loeb was actually hired to write this because the studio, after the success of the movie Valley Girl, wanted to make a comedy that would cost almost nothing and take very little time to film.
Yeah, they shot this in 21 days or something like that.
Yeah, the production was $1 million.
Yeah.
The other thing to keep in mind is that Michael J. Fox hated making this movie.
Yes.
And that he was quoted as saying, he's over here dressed like a dumb werewolf, and Steven Spielberg's one lot over making quality movies.
I mean, he ain't wrong.
No, he's not wrong.
As a freelancer, I've been there, man. I feel you, Michael J. Fox. Like, it sucks being trapped in a project sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, he was doing Back to the Future, at the same time as this.
So Back to the Future released at the same time as this movie was being filmed.
Yeah.
So they actually delayed the release because they wanted the fame from Back to the Future to kind of settle a little bit.
Right. He probably agreed to both movies around the same time. And it was right as his career was blowing up. And he just got hooked into this terrible, terrible movie. I thought this movie was going to be good, by the way. I thought it was going to be it's an 80s icon. Everybody knows Teen Wolf. It's probably going to be pretty good. And it just isn't.
It was, though. It was actually pretty okay. It was pretty good.
It has
about
its moments.
45 minutes.
Yes.
For about 45 minutes, yeah.
Until it overstays its welcome.
It was, until it just doesn't go anywhere. When it just refuses to actually develop anything, that's when it starts becoming well, wait a minute. When's the plot starting? Because it's been 45 minutes, and there needs to be a plot.
I mean, yeah, the movie just kind of loses all steam at some point, for sure. Yeah, let's talk about the movie.
Yeah, how does it start? Right? How does it start?
So I want to get you in. Okay, can I get you in the mood for Teen Wolf?
Yeah, paint a picture.
That's not fair for you to do this movie that dirty to talk about how it starts.
Yeah. Okay. Let's paint a picture.
Let's paint a picture about Teen Wolf.
I'm taking off my headphones.
Okay, the movie opens with an incredibly sweaty Michael J. Fox standing over you, dripping sweat onto your face. He's at a basketball. It holds for a really long time. Yeah, what the fuck?
This is all incredibly unfair. You guys are jumping way ahead. You're jumping 10 seconds forward.
Yeah, this is 10 seconds of the movie, yeah.
No. If you remember, it actually starts with a...
Oh, yeah, there's heavy breathing.
10 seconds of heavy breathing, and then Michael J.
Over black screen. And then you get sweaty.
And then sweaty Michael J. Fox looking at you, dead eyes, being sweating all over you. Because he's at a basketball game. I do not feel comfortable.
Yeah, right?
Oh, don't trip on me. Don't trip on me. Don't trip on me.
Oh, no.
This is when I opened that Shrek pack and then I immediately bailed.
I am not okay with this.
Yeah.
It's incredibly loud, heavy breathing, too. Because I remember... it was really heavy breathing that was super loud, and then the movie started, and you were like, wait, did it just get way quieter? And you had to up the volume by 30%.
Yeah.
I think that they were trying to do a thing where it's it's all intense, and he's breathing really hard. He can't hear everyone around him. He's out of his element. It's a little scary for him. I think that's what they were trying to do.
Oh yeah, that's what they were trying.
What they accomplished was just a very weird opening scene about basketball.
It came off more as a slasher flick that opened with Michael J. Fox on top of you.
Yeah.
Which is not okay. My God.
It had a very, come on, Marty. As you said, NBA 2016 or whatever that was.
Yeah, 2K16 with the
2K16.
We've added
now
sweat.
You see sweat.
Yeah, we added sweat to the characters. Oh boy, I love sweat.
They had to be a cat. There had to be somebody on the film crew that was just named like Sweat Boy or something, right?
Ugh.
Like who just had to like run around and sweaty these men up because like they had a squirt bottle for them constantly.
They were
in
extremely wet in an uncomfortable way.
It looks like they just got out of a pool.
Yes.
So Michael J. Fox absolutely sucks at basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And also Scotty, his character, does. So
perfect casting, really, when you think about
really
it.
good casting.
But it's fine because everybody else is also terrible.
Yeah, they introduced us to some characters at the beginning in the game, including Francis from Pee-wee's Big Adventure, who's named Chubb.
You'll be sorry, Pee-wee Herman.
You'll never guess what his character is like.
Who keeps food in his sweaty locker.
Yeah, he keeps liverwurst in his locker with his gym clothes. It's disgusting.
It's gross. Ugh.
The 80s, when a character is named Chubb, and you know immediately what that character is.
Yeah, so we start getting a little bit of inkling of something weird going on with Michael J. Fox when he pulls out an extremely long hair from his chest in the locker room. Which is
not a lot of hair, just single hair.
A single hair.
Yeah.
All the way down his chest. Which is fucking weird.
Yeah. And at no point when he starts to have these symptoms, by the way, is he like, maybe I should go to a doctor. He's like, maybe there's something real wrong with me.
He's never like, oh, that's weird. I should probably get that looked at. He's like, oh, huh. And then just moves on with his day.
Yeah.
I guess.
At which point we were thinking, is he already the werewolf?
Yes, he had to be, right?
Yeah.
He was showing signs of it.
There was no.
He growls at another basketball
with
player. Yep.
They didn't open with a werewolf attack. They didn't have an origin of the werewolf.
No,
He wasn't bitten. It wasn't anything. So
there is nothing interesting that happens in these people's lives before, after, or during this movie.
No. Michael J. Fox is just a werewolf, and you have to accept that. That's the way it was written. And no, I'm not going to explain it.
So okay. The basketball game happens, and then there's a basketball game at the end of the movie.
Yes.
I don't remember what happened after the first basketball game because this movie is just ADD. Like no scene matters, and they can just shuffle around, and you'd have the same movie.
So that makes perfect sense, by the way. Because it's the same director as Beethoven's Second, and that movie also just shambles around from scene to scene for no reason. With no plot, and things just happen. It's literally the same thing. So that makes perfect sense.
There's scenes where Teen Wolf has not yet embraced being a Teen Wolf, and then there's scenes where he has embraced being a Teen Wolf, and you can just take those scenes and just shuffle them around, and you have the same movie.
Yes. Yeah.
If I can describe this movie in one word, it's listless.
Listless, yeah.
There's no driving force. There's no, he never really wrestles with, should I be the wolf? Should I not be the wolf? There's never there's, an opposing basketball, bad guy, but he only shows up, really at the end. And there's, a love interest that they kind of hint at, and then also a childhood love interest that they kind of hint at, but both never pay off in any kind of promising way. Nothing pays off in any promising way.
This movie's extremely non-committal to its werewolf tendencies, which is really a transformative move on the genre, if you think about it.
He only transformed one time. They only showed one transformation.
That too.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to know what happened after the basketball game? Because I'll tell you.
Yeah,
he walked in on the coach who was shaving his beard over his
chicken.
chicken.
Fuck, yeah.
Yes.
I've never shaved over a meal before, but I can't imagine that the rest of my life would be in a great place if I was doing that.
And then he went to his hardware store job with his dad, and some kid was playing a dog whistle, which never led anywhere.
Which, by the way, if he's at the hardware store with his dad, and the kid's playing with the dog whistle, and he's like, hearing the whistle and it's bothering him because he's a werewolf.
Yes.
Turns out the dad's also a werewolf.
Yeah.
But the dad was fine.
That.
He didn't react at all.
Yeah. Maybe he's an old werewolf, so he's lost some of his hearing. He doesn't have quite the range anymore. I have to say, you saying, like, nothing good would have been in your life if you were shaving over your Kentucky Fried Chicken. And I'm like, see, that's the thing. That's why I, like, love-hate this movie, is because at the beginning... No, that's exactly the energy that coach is giving. That coach rules.
It is. Oh, yeah.
That speech from the beginning, the 3 rules of life, is that coach. That coach has the best lines.
It's the same thing that you're saying. He wanted to drop off the team. Mother was a widow, all crippled up. She was scrubbing floors. She had
all crippled up.
So he wanted to drop basketball and get a job. Now these were poor people. These were hungry people with real problems.
Uh-huh.
You understand what I'm saying?
No.
No one does.
What happened to the kid?
I don't know. He quit. It's a third stringer. I didn't need him.
Yeah, he has emotionally given up on his whole thing. Everything he's got going on.
Anything.
Yeah, he's just drifting through.
I don't know if it's the coach or the actor. For being in this movie, he might have just wandered on the set and said that. There's a point where, at one point, the kids are like angry because Teen Wolf starts hogging the spotlight playing basketball, and he goes, "Hey, like, what's the problem, boys? Like, it only matters if we win or lose, and even that doesn't really matter."
Yeah, nothing matters. Who gives a
fucking
shit?
Great. I love that character. There's a lot of characters in this show that are fantastic.
Right.
You have to think, like,
wasted on this.
The apathy of the coach, I wonder, is that a vehicle for the writer's room of this movie?
It could be.
Are the writers like, you know what? We just got to get a movie out there.
Like,
it's not a big
this
deal.
was so Jeph Loeb was working on a comic. At the same time, he's like, man, I got to write this Teen Wolf shit. But the deadline for the comic is coming up. So, like,
the thing I care about.
I'll just dump this thing out. I don't care. We'll work on that comic instead. Like, that had to be in it.
So what happens after the hardware store?
Okay, so first things first, we need to set this up. The director doesn't know what teenagers are like, right? So he had to actually go on a trip to Nebraska.
I have a theory about this, by the way, because we're talking about the party scene, correct?
Yeah,
we got. Well, I mean,
the party will come
about the car surfing scene.
Yeah, we'll get to the
and
party.
The beer run.
There's a lot of teenager things. So he asked a bunch of teenagers in Nebraska what they do, and then based the scenes in the movie that they did off of those results. Okay, let's set that up.
By the way, he's 38 when he shot this, so he's 38 years old, going to Nebraska, asking teenagers how to party.
He's 38. Wow, that's cool, because that's also the age of Michael J. Fox's nemesis in this movie.
Yeah, his rival that dated
his high school nemesis.
Yeah, 100%.
Sorry, I just...
Okay, so let's set that up. So there are multiple characters that we're introduced to before the party and everything else happens. One, we're introduced to Boof, which is his childhood friend who has an interest in him and he does not remotely give a shit about. As a friend or love interest. He just doesn't care at all about this character.
He's just kind of a jerk to everyone, really.
Which sucks because
Teen Wolf kind of sucks.
Boof has like the best name, and as Nick put it during the watching of the film, the style of a 90s grunge person that dresses slightly like a grandma.
Yeah,
definitely.
She seems like she's transplanted from another better movie into this movie. She's the only one that seems like put together in any kind of capacity.
And then there's Styles.
I was gonna say there's
and then there's
Styles also comes from a much better movie.
Yeah, Styles also comes
Boof,
but not put together, but definitely quality.
Yes.
Styles is so good. So Styles is like the ultimate 80s party animal, and he's fucking great in every scene. Just ultimate no shits energy. Just
First shows up in a shirt that's like nobody cares and then you die?
Yeah,
and
then
just like
his second shirt is Obnoxious the movie.
Obnoxious the movie. I have a list of his other shirts, by the way, because I've been keeping track.
Hit me with another one.
He has a shirt that says, "What are you looking at, dicknose?"
Yep.
Very important.
That's the best one.
He wears a shirt that says "Drunken State, Florida."
I missed that one.
I missed it.
He has multiple Teen Wolf shirts, a Hawaiian shirt, of course, and a Wolf Buddy shirt.
Yeah, because he starts running a Teen Wolf business, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, he's a businessman. He's an entrepreneur, really.
Yeah, the Hawaiian shirt comes into play right now because what happens is the beer run. Styles tries to get some beer from a 1940s liquor store.
It's a 1940s horror villain liquor store.
And how does he get the keg from the horror villain? What does he try to do?
Well, Styles doesn't get it.
Yeah.
He ends up talking Teen Wolf into getting it.
Yeah, but he tries to get it by coming in and being like, "Oh yeah," holding like a cigarette in his mouth and like big shades and stuff, and he's like, "Oh man, the boss said I'm supposed to pick up a cake for our big party here later. The
boss from the gravel
boss
pit,
man, right? The boss
from the pit,
from the gravel pit."
It's
ridiculous.
This whole bit, and the guy's like, "Yeah, kid, you need ID," and he's like, No, the boss sent me down here. Here's some extra. I got the bread for you, man.
Says I'm to pick up a keg of beer.
All right.
What is happening?
Answer you did.
Oh, hot damn. The boss is throwing a big bash for one of the boys down at the gravel pit.
Boss.
The boss. I'm an adult. You could tell because I have a cigarette.
Well, I got plenty of bread.
Why is he wearing steampunk goggles?
Here's a little extra for you.
You just give him $3?
Yeah.
Sport.
He attempts to bribe the guy first with $3.
$3.
And the guy takes the money and then asks for the ID.
And then tells him to get out, which was great.
And then he gets back in the car with his buddy, who we never find out the name of, and he's like,
"No, it's
what
Lewis.
Does he say? Never say die."
Never say die.
Never say die.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just looks at him and goes, "Never say die," and then suddenly they just cut scene, end scene.
But why? Why was there a Goonies reference?
Because it's fucking Styles. Styles is loaded with his namesake.
God, Styles rules. Styles rules so much. So Styles can't get the beer. He goes to Teen Wolf's house. He's like, "Hey, come with me. I got something important for you to do." And Michael J. Fox is like scratching his back. He's like, "Yo, you got a rash?" I don't know.
God,
something
going line right.
Like, okay, if you want to go ahead, talk about it. Go ahead.
He's like,
I would love to take this one.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Okay, I need this one. This one was so good. So he goes like, "Oh, like what?" He's like, "I got a rash. You got a rash?" And he's like, "No, but I know where to find one."
Why, you want one?
Why, you looking to catch something?
And the way that he says it is like, he's serious. He absolutely knows.
He will get you a rash within 24 hours.
Yeah, this man knows where every rash in this city is. Like,
what a legend.
Styles is the fucking best.
So they go back to the liquor store with the horror man behind the counter, and Styles' plan now, instead of impersonating a much older gentleman, is to get Michael J. Fox to hold up the liquor store and with a plastic water pistol in his shirt pocket. And he's like, "If you pay for it, then it doesn't count as stealing and nobody can touch us.
And if you ask an undercover cop if they're a cop, they've got to tell you."
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man.
So Michael J. Fox throws the pistol away, and he's like, "I'm just going to go in and ask for a keg." He goes in.
That's the right way to do it.
He asks for a keg. The guy asks for ID. Michael J. Fox does not have ID, and then he asks for the keg again, except his eyes glow and he like snarls at him.
Give me a keg of beer.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
And then
he
the
uses
guy,
the power of the wolf.
Yeah, the power of the wolf. And the guy gives him a keg.
Yeah. You see, there's two wolves inside of you.
Oh,
One that really wants a keg.
No.
Oh, okay.
There's a really good bit with this keg. So they go to a party. I just want to take this next bit.
They do go to the party.
You don't want to surf. You don't want
to gloss over the surfing.
Okay, I don't want to. This is where the Hawaiian shirt comes in. Who wants the surfing? You can take the surfing.
All right, Nick, you got this.
All right, so they get in the car, and Styles is in his convertible, and they have a van as well. And the friend of Styles and Michael J. Fox are in the van, and then at some point, Styles pulls up beside the van and he's like, pull over. I don't know why they just didn't have the characters all in the van. It's idiotic. There's no planning in this.
They kind of nail teens with that, honestly. Yeah, there's a lot of no planning with the teens in this.
So they shuffle the kids around the cars. So then it's eventually Styles and Michael J. Fox in the van. And then Styles just pulls a Hawaiian shirt out of nowhere, puts it on, and then climbs while the van is in motion. Climbs onto the top of the van, Surfin' USA comes on, and he surfs the van to the party.
With cool sunglasses and everything.
Yeah.
And that is actually the actor doing that. They did not get a stunt double for that. He's literally just standing on top of a van, driving and surfing.
Yeah, I don't know if there was any safety equipment, but it looks like they're going a considerable speed too.
And Michael J. Fox kind of stumbles a little bit at one point and he goes, whoa man, just watch the waves.
Yeah. Because he noticed that he started having his wolf ears, and he was like, what's going on with me?
His ears?
If he taps the brakes.
Oh, he's dead.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right.
He's gone.
Or taps the gas. Like, he can't do anything.
Yeah, this was expected.
Yeah.
Dude's like happy that he's fucked up.
Oh my god.
What is... So the thing about Styles is when he says, hey, watch the waves, he's not standing on top of the van. He gets on his stomach and then like ducks his head upside down through the window. He's like, hey, dude.
Hey, dude,
watch the waves, bro. And then gets back on top. He's like, oh shit.
And then when they roll into the party, he's just like laying on the top of it, like reclining like a god. And he's just like, hey, what's going on? Yeah.
Hey, I'm
nice
at the
to see you
party
here.
now.
Yeah.
Oh, you hit my car?
And Michael J. Fox, I was gonna say Michael J. Fox hits the back of his car, and so he rolls off the van into his own car and is like, man, that was a good hit, bro. And it's like, what?
Oh my
What the
God.
shit? Glad you hit my car. That fucking rule.
All right.
Let's get drunk.
Yeah, nice hit, baby.
We're at the party with the keg. This is all yours.
This is a great little bit here. There's a lot. This party is one of the best scenes in this movie because it's just got a lot of wild energy to it.
And worst. Wild
Mostly
energy,
worst.
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah. It's the best to watch, but it's because it's the worst. That's the way that it kind of goes. But one of the bits that's really good is that they carry the keg in. They're like, yeah, we got the beer, everybody. Look at how cool we are. We got the beer. And they pull it into the kitchen. And there's a stack of like 12 kegs because everybody brought beer and everybody was able to get it.
And just like, just throw it on the pile and take some home if there's any left.
Oh, you got another keg? All right, sure, whatever. Nobody gives a shit. I love the way that they did that. There's this huge beer run thing, and it's like, oh man, no, like everybody has managed to get beer. Like, do you not have a fake ID yet? God damn.
God. So they get into a circle. Everybody at the party just gets into a circle with two people covered in whipped cream in their underwear,
like tied together,
up, wiggling around on the floor. Very.
I don't even know what the objective is.
And then I guess,
there's nothing sexy about that, right? Like it's not like
gross.
They're supposed to like get away from each other, like free themselves, and then Styles calls time, and no one knows what's going. Anyone who's watching this movie has no idea what's happening at this point. Like this party's got wild energy, and everyone is standing around them, like wiggling on the ground in whipped cream and tied together, and you're just like, what is happening?
And they just left them there for the rest of the scene.
Yeah, but the party,
they come back to them a couple times.
Party loves it.
They love it.
Loves it.
They're like, this is the best thing that has ever happened at a party. Yeah.
So here's my theory, right? So the director, 38 years old, flew to Nebraska and asked teens how they party, and 100% this is teens being like, oh, you want to know how we party? Well, what we do is we tie each other. Yeah, I think they're like messing with the director.
This is a Jankum moment. They did a Jankum on him.
Yeah. They're like, oh, yeah. We party like this.
This is how we party. Yeah,
when we get together, what we do is strip down, tie ourselves together, and then try to free ourselves on the ground.
Oh my God, you might be right.
You don't know it's a party until that happens.
The next scene, essentially they're handing out names at random to, I guess, the guys and the girls, whatever.
Styles is emceeing.
Hey, yeah, you get together and do something crazy. So, like, they get Chubbs and some random girl, and they're like, hey, you need to eat this entire bowl of Jell-O. On her boobs!
Yeah.
And then they get Boof and Teen Wolf, and they're like, hey, you're gonna go in the closet and kiss! Whoa! Party!
And then they do that. They go in the closet and
then they
kiss.
do that, yeah.
But, like, it seems like they didn't have that relationship earlier in the movie, and now they apparently do because they're in the closet and there's a lot of peer pressure, I guess. But that is never
they don't. Yeah,
right. It's never touched on, and
it never comes back. They don't care.
Boof seems to kind of like Teen Wolf, but like Teen Wolf doesn't care about anyone or anything.
No.
And, okay, so in this scene, too, so then she's like, oh, you're hurting me, like, you've got your fingernails, and it's implied, like, he basically turns into the wolf in the closet, and he rakes her back. To the point that they even show afterwards that, like, her hoodie is shredded, and she's got these horrible gashes down her back.
Yeah.
But, so, that would be a perfect time to have, say, highlighted the dangers of being the wolf, right?
Yeah. Right. Has he infected her? Like, is this a big deal?
Or also, like, that he just becomes animal and violent and, like, oh, no, you've got to control it. They and that's later a quote-unquote plot point, kind of, in the most loose sense possible. But they don't use this as, like, that incident as the reason why, like, oh, you have to be worried about, like, letting out the animal. They never reference this as a problem at all. And she doesn't have a problem with it. She comes back the next day and it's just like... No,
she kind of just drops it, really.
Just dropped entirely.
Everybody,
from the movie,
scene to scene, no one remembers what happens in the previous scene in this movie. It's just it just meanders around.
So Teen Wolf leaves the party, goes back home, goes into the bathroom, and then starts transforming. And he's like, "Ah, beans! Ah, jeez!
What does he say?
Oh, heavens!
He says something.
He says, like, it's G
Willikers.
G Willikers or
oh, gee whiz, I'm a werewolf.
Yeah.
It's the lamest shit.
And the dad is like, whatever's going on with you, you can tell me. I understand. And he opens, and he's like, Dad, I don't think you're going to get this. And he opens the door, and the dad is also a werewolf.
He's also a werewolf.
Yeah.
So Teen Wolf goes to his bedroom. Werewolf's dad walks downstairs, and then nothing happens. And then in the morning they wake up and like, "Hey, that was a crazy night." Yeah, sure was. Yep. Well, see ya.
Yeah, they dropped the line. That's when they dropped the line. With great power comes greater responsibility.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And he was trying to say that being the wolf can give you things. Like it can help you out.
Yeah. Remember, Peter, with great power comes great responsibility. When you have the power to shoot webs from your hands, you too can be Teen Wolf.
Yeah.
What? Okay, so he goes back to school. He goes back to school the next day, and he keeps falling asleep in class and being woken up by the word wolf.
Yeah, it's like a wolf magnet school or something.
Yeah, while Styles is wearing his "What are you looking at, dicknose" shirt, which is really hard to
that's what
not look at in every
that's
scene.
When he first pulls out the dicknose shirt.
Yeah, that shirt stole that scene.
It did. I couldn't pay attention to it. It was just that shirt.
I love that we remember the way this movie goes by what shirt Styles is wearing.
Yeah.
Oh, this is where he pulls out the dicknose shirt.
Everybody loves that. I mean, Styles is the main character, right? Like, I don't give a shit about Michael J. Fox's character.
He's not likable. Like,
no,
Michael J. Fox is a charismatic actor, and he is just not a likable character in any situation.
No. So he keeps transforming. Or being woken up by the word wolf, and then he starts transforming, so he immediately leaves class and starts running down the hall. But
he's trying to find a bathroom.
He's trying to find a bathroom to sort of hide in, essentially. The janitor's there's like, hey, the floor's wet. And not only is the floor wet, but it's all the way down the hall.
Yeah, way down the hall. Way down.
1,000 feet.
And it's just...
Not wet, soaked.
It's just Michael J. Fox, like run falling for the length of a football field.
Yeah.
He's just
one long shot. Yeah. Just him fall. And then the next shot is him sliding through the shot, down the hallway.
Slipping and falling.
Yeah.
I just solved a big mystery in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
We know why all the basketball players are dripping all the time.
Oh my god!
Just
janitor.
The school is just so goddamn wet.
The school's just fucking wet all the time. It's just fucking soaked. Everybody's just covered in water.
So he gets confronted in the bathroom by the president or vice president.
It's vice principal.
Vice principal.
Yeah.
Okay, so
the president of
the vice president of the United States of America. The vice principal of the school is like, hey, show me your hands, because his hands were transforming. So he nervously shows him his hands, which are now not transformed. He's like, hey, do you happen to have a marker on you that you've been using to draw on all these mirrors? No. All right, well, I got my eye on you, kid. Don't fuck up. And then leaves.
And what we don't know, because the movie doesn't set this up in any meaningful way, is that the dad and the principal have history together of a werewolf encounter. So the principal's picking on Teen Wolf, but we don't know that. Teen Wolf is in a place that he's not supposed to be. So it's totally fine for the principal to be like, what are you doing? You know? Yeah. We don't get... And then they try to make plot out of that later, but it
has no
does
impact.
Not work. Yeah, no. It has no impact because it has no setup.
Well, and also they put it in such an offhand way, and the dialogue in this movie moves really fast. We talked about that during the film, where it's really easy to miss things because it's a really snappy dialogue sometimes. It's actually kind of funny. There's a lot of one-liners and stuff that are in here that are pretty quotable and quippy. We were talking about the coach's lines and things.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody delivers them at a breakneck pace with absolutely no pauses.
It would be very good on a comic page.
Yes.
Is what you're saying.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. But it sucks when spoken out loud by
if you could
actors.
read it at your own pace, this would be great.
Yeah. But it's interesting because when we get to the point where it's the vice principal and they have the quote unquote payoff for this later, where the dad and the vice principal kind of confront each other, it took us a good 15-20 seconds into that scene to be like, oh wait, this is the guy that they were talking about. We had to have that realization in the middle of the film. That is not a good payoff. If halfway through the payoff you have to sit there and go wait, is this that guy that they referenced a long time ago? Oh, that's why all this is happening. That's not a good reaction from the audience.
Yeah. So, man, my head is spinning right now because there's like the movie basically from here, up until this point, it's like kind of linear teen comedy, you know?
Yes. Yeah,
but
yeah.
from here, it's like, hi, we have 5 different plot points. None of them are going to pay off. So it just scatters. There's a plot point of the dad and the principal having history. There's a plot point of like, where is Michael J. Fox's mom? There's a plot point of, is Boof a werewolf? Does she know? Because she's out playing basketball with the dad hanging out. There's a plot point of the dance and like, is that like what's going to happen with that? And then there's a plot point of the basketball, and there's a plot point of the theater, and like that's 6
and none
things.
of it matters.
That's 6 things that are happening, and then I guess Styles is just there.
And also, like, there's the love triangle, or square, I guess, of, like, there's the woman
the Van Helsing guy.
Van Helsing, yeah.
There's a Van Helsing plot point. So there's 7 things that are happening from now until the end of the movie, and none of them pay off, and none of them are, like, really, like, have any kind of follow-through to, like, get you to be like, oh, this was a fun movie that had an arc. It's just like, we're going to throw these 7 things at you, and then hopefully we'll trick you into thinking that we made a movie.
Yes.
And none of them really have any conflict in them. Like, there's no resolution to a lot of them because they don't need to be resolved. They're just kind of things.
Look, when you're writing a movie, you don't need to write conflict or a story. You just write scenes for Teen Wolf to do cool things in.
Yeah.
What the hell were you thinking?
Like, as an example,
please.
The whole thing about the dad and the vice principal is that he later on tells Teen Wolf a story about, oh, like, I let the animal get a hold of me one time, and I was with your mom, and this guy always wanted to be with your mom, and he chased her around all the time and stalked her, and he was really creepy. So one day I got angry at him, and I turned into the wolf, and it scared him so much that he pissed himself. And Michael J. Fox is like, wow, that's really cool. And he goes, yeah, it kind of was cool. So it's like,
kind of.
Like, totally undermines his point.
But he was like, didn't he say, like, I don't know who was more scared.
Too.
Like,
him or me.
Like, because he was afraid of me, and I was afraid of what I was going to do to him, kind of thing.
Yeah. And at the same time, Van Helsing guy is, like, confronting Teen Wolf and being like, hey, I shot your mom with a shotgun and fucking killed her.
Right!
Sure, but what I was trying to say is that, like, the microcosm of this, like, to show how it doesn't pay off, or it doesn't have any conflict in it, is that he tells that story, and then at the end of the movie, he confronts the principal, and he just goes, like, you leave my kid alone, and the principal pisses himself.
Yeah,
well, he growls at him. So, like,
but what's the
lesson?
The conflict?
The lesson that he was trying to teach of, like, you know, keep the wolf inside you, like, otherwise it'll control you, is, like, thrown right out the fucking window because he sees the guy and he growls at him.
Yeah,
so
it's and there's no conflict either. It's not like he goes there and he goes, oh, like, I need to make up for what I did.
Yeah.
Like, I've got, like, there's no tension. Like, there's nothing there that compels him to be at the school to talk to the vice principal.
The principal has interacted with Teen Wolf twice at this point. The first time in the locker or in the bathroom, and then another time when he just walked up to him when he's like all wolf all the time, and he's like, oh, I got my eye on you. And he's like, the Teen Wolf's just like, okay. And then we move on. If like, if the principal was dogging him this whole movie, like, there would be something there, but it doesn't happen.
Right? Yeah. And it needs to have, like, a conflict. So, like, for example, they left out the conflict of it. So, like, there needs to be, the vice principal goes, I'm going to catch you, and if I catch you one more time, I'm, like, going to get you thrown into juvie. Or I know, like, the next college, you're trying to get into college next year at this college, and, like, that's part of your goal. And I know people there, and I'm going to ruin it for you.
Or if he's like, I know you're kind, and I know you're violent, and it's only a matter of time, and I'm going to catch you, you know?
Yeah,
something like that.
And between the conflict with him and the dad, like, there needs to be, like, where, say, like, the principal can get, like, the dad's hardware store shut down, or, like, knows, do you know what I mean? Like, there needs to be some kind of tension in that relationship still, but there's nothing. There's just nothing there. They just write it as if there is something, but there's nothing, so you don't care when it happens. And that is every single one of these plot points that you were talking about, is they all have that kind of energy to them, is that it's set up as if there's supposed to be some kind of conflict.
By the time we hit the end of this movie, I was furious. Because it is like 7 things that could have gone somewhere and just don't go anywhere.
No. Because, like, do you want to, like, explain the theater plot line?
So the theater plot line is Michael J. Fox, he's terrible at basketball. This is before he wolfed out. So there was a basketball game where he got dogpiled on because apparently it's football now. And Michael J. Fox wolfs out and he starts dribbling the basketball and he's a werewolf in front of everyone and the crowds and everything. And then he does a sweet dunk and everyone's like, oh, I guess he's cool. So like, we're going to roll with it. So now Teen Wolf is like a thing. He's a guy about town.
Yeah.
But before then, he was just this kid who was terrible at basketball. And he goes to his dad and he's like, you know, I'm thinking about the theater. And the reason that he wants to go be in this play is because it has a hot girl that he likes in it. And so he wants to spend time with her. So they set that up and it's got some snooty like theater guy who's like running this play, who's kind of great, but he's putting together this play, and the play is Gone with the Wind or something. And it's very quick. Michael J. Fox comes to the theater as Teen Wolf now, and the thespian loves it. He loves Teen Wolf in the movie or in the play. And he then like comes around to the fact that like, oh, I can't be Teen Wolf all the time by the end of it. And then the thespian's like, well, if you're not going to be Teen Wolf, then you're out of here. And Teen Wolf's like, okay. And that's it. That's the plot. That's the whole plot. That's the whole plot. He literally, the last of that scene is him just like literally just walking away.
I'd rather play it like this.
Okay, I see. How am I going to put this to you? Look at it this way.
This guy looks a lot like
Wolf. Wolf. No part. What do you think?
Words. I use them, right? What do you think?
Wow, bummer.
No one else is in this play.
Done.
He walks off the stage.
Like, you don't need that anymore.
There's no conflict there. Again, like you could have something where it's like, oh, well, you need to do the big play because like your parents are coming to this or something, like where it'll matter. There's some kind of stakes. There's no stakes for any
We have a
of it.
Hollywood scout coming and he's like looking for new talent. And it's
the girl will like you if she's in this play with you, but they don't even have that. She hates him. This woman he's trying
before
to get
they even
the whole time hates
before
him.
they even resolve that, they tank that whole relationship. Like the girl loves Teen Wolf, sleeps with him, and then Teen Wolf's like, okay, like we're dating now, and she's like, nah, dude, I just fucked you. Like that's it.
That's the end of that plot line. We're done.
That's the end of that plot line because she needs to be with the other guy in order to introduce the Van Helsing plot line that they never follow through.
No, not again. Okay, so
it's
okay,
wild.
So after Teen Wolf turns into a werewolf during the basketball game, he break dances with some guy, I guess, in the hallway because he's cool and he's Teen Wolf. Styles starts selling merch. Let's blow past some of that stuff because it's just cool.
Yeah,
it's cool Teen Wolf stuff. It happens.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we should probably just move to the dance. I don't know if there's anything really interesting that happens until then, anyways, because
it's just
Teen Wolf stuff.
Yeah, it's just him playing basketball, him not giving a fuck about anybody. He doesn't pass anyone on the team. Like the team's pissed at him now. Nothing else is going on.
Yeah, he's an asshole.
Because he's an asshole, yeah. And the rest of the school is like, hey, Teen Wolf's pretty cool because he's a wolf man. And we got free pizza that one time.
Oh, yeah. As a quick aside, during the basketball game when he turns into Teen Wolf, not only does he turn into Teen Wolf, he also gains a foot in height. Because he had a double, which was a college basketball player named Jeph that actually covered for him because he sucks ass at basketball.
That is also incredibly unfair of you, Boyks. He does not gain a foot in height. He gains at least a foot and a half.
Yeah,
Michael J. Fox is very short, and this man is very much not.
Here's why I need to bring that up, because we're at the spring dance. There's things happening at the spring dance, which we'll talk about. But more importantly, Michael J. Fox also needed a dance double, because he also couldn't dance.
Wow.
And
Wait,
the
really?
dancing they showed was not good.
Not great.
No.
It was bad.
Actually, come to think of it, there's only one shot of Michael J. Fox in the movie, and I wish you could, if you could put that clip in the show notes of him just dancing, because it is so bad. It is so bad.
Well, he's
He does a
also
weird
dancing to a song
thriller
about
thing.
grandma.
What?
What?
What is the song? What is this song?
This is a song about Red Riding Hood.
It's a song about your grandma.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
I have the lyrics for that if you want.
Go on.
It's
hit me
Big
with-
Bad Wolf by the Wolf Sisters.
Hit me with a verse.
Hit me with that great grandma hot synthwave beat.
Well, you sure don't look like no grandma. Your hair ain't pearly white. Girl, don't you see that your grandma's hungry? Her voice don't reach that deep. No, your voice don't sound like no grandma. It's giving me the creeps. This is the chorus. You're a big bad wolf. I ain't guessing his steak. Big bad wolf. How about cookies and cake? Big bad wolf. Heat my oven and bake. Big bad wolf.
This is a big 80s party with Teen Wolf. Everybody's
song
dancing.
about grandmas.
And they're singing about grandma.
Yeah.
This is a real song. It's,
This movie.
It's obviously
It's bad.
Red Riding Hood, but, like, it's so focused on grandma.
Can I spend 5 seconds just quickly talking about the song choices for all of this?
There's some awful song choices, yeah.
They choose
There's
like
one
a
good
basket.
one.
Yeah, they do Surfing USA for riding the van.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. It fits. For the basketball, what the fuck, man? The basketball scene where he turns into Teen Wolf the first time and shows off his skills. They jump into like soft country rock.
Yeah, you would expect like dun 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 dun, dun like Space Jam or Mortal Kombat or something high energy.
Give me a jock jam.
No, we got slow country. Like, yeah, we're throwing the basketball.
It's so weird.
What?
It's like a bad knockoff Springsteen.
Do you think the teens also lied to him about what music they listened to?
100%. I think those teens in 1985 in Nebraska, like,
Legendary.
purposefully sabotaged this movie in maybe the best way.
And they did a damn fine job.
Yeah.
This movie has never made werewolves look so lame. Like, there's never happened in any other movie. Any movie possible. This one did that, and it's an accomplishment.
There's one transformation scene, that's it, in the early in the movie, and then there's no attack scenes. Like, he never loses control, except for one second at the dance.
There's 1 second. So Teen Wolf.
But we kind of you kind of have to set up the Van Helsing storyline to like understand him losing control.
Sure.
Well, okay, so we talked about Van Helsing saying that he murdered his mother at the bowling alley. While he was schmoozing with girl who is with Van Helsing guy.
Yeah.
Who boned him once.
Yeah.
That's the setup. That's all there is. He killed his
okay.
mom. Yeah.
Basically, the dude comes over to him and to like try and antagonize him, goes like, "Yeah, I've dealt with your kind before. I met your mom a long time ago, and his mom's not in this film. Like, she's dead, right? Like,
and it
kind of imply that she's dead.
It's said so fast that it's like, is he talking trash or did that happen?
Like,
and it is never brought up again.
I shot your mom while she was chasing chickens in my backyard. I blew her head off with a shotgun.
Like, is he making a werewolf joke?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're joking. I don't know if this is like a thing that he actually did and is supposed to be set up. It doesn't make any sense. They don't address it again. He never gets mad at the guy for it. He never.
So the whole time we're waiting for the other shoe to drop with this dude. Like, he's a werewolf hunter. He's going to like fuck up Teen Wolf. Like, he's going to get him in a back alley somewhere or whatever. It never happens.
It's just a line. They just wrote a line and they're like, good. Now what?
So cut to the end of the movie, at not even the end of the movie, because this is just the end of that dumb storyline, and then there's like 15 minutes of movie left. Where they're at the dance, and like he's like, stay away from my girl, and then Teen Wolf is like, yeah, whatever, and he transforms back into regular guy to like dance with Boof, because that's what Boof wants. She just wants him to be him.
It's the only time in the movie where Teen Wolf actually cares about someone other than himself. Weird.
Yes. And the guy sees his opportunity. He's like, oh, he's not Teen Wolf anymore. Like, I'm going to go punch him in his face. So he punches him, knocks him down, pops up as Teen Wolf, and Teen Wolf like slashes at his shirt, but like the guy is fine.
He just
like,
rips his shirt.
Yeah, he just rips his shirt. Like, that's every high school fight ever. Like, there's no werewolf component in there.
No,
and then that's
and
it.
He got also like, this is the big moment where it's like, oh no, I've got to be just as scared because maybe I'll let the animal out, and it's the guy sucker punched him and he defended himself. There's no tension there. That's nothing.
No.
He was totally justified to jump up and slug back at the guy,
and
he
the guy's fine.
Yeah, nothing happened. It's just
he doesn't hurt the guy or anything, and he doesn't even go after him afterwards like he's losing control and like keeps attacking him. He like gets up, slashes his shirt, and is like, yeah, like leave me alone, dude, and walks away. That's
and
not
when the
losing
scene
control.
changes and there's 15 minutes of the movie left, nothing happens. It's never brought up again.
Yeah, there's no repercussions for that. It just happens.
Well, and what's really bothering me about that whole thing, too, is we've got that long storyline of that where it's like, oh, he might be losing control, and that's their big moment of him losing control. He shredded his own childhood, like, girlfriend/love interest back at the beginning of this. That is really kind of creepy and weird and dangerous, and like they just brush that off. Oh no, that's just normal.
The same thing that happened at the dance was passed off as childhood antics in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, something that was like an actual justified him defending himself is portrayed as like this horrible possible assault kind of thing.
Because it needs to be, because we have to have the movie keep going.
Yeah, and one where he actually seriously harmed his childhood friend/love interest is portrayed as like, well, I mean, she kind of was into him, maybe. And I was like, oh, fuck off.
And let me just real quickly touch on the Boof being a werewolf.
Yes.
So we find out that the dad's a werewolf, and it's very abrupt, comes out of nowhere. And later, Michael J. Fox comes to his home, and Boof is there hanging out with the dad. She's like playing basketball with him.
Yeah.
Just hanging out, spending the day. Like, she wasn't like, oh, I'm just going to come in and like have some coffee with you, like wait for, Teen Wolf to get home. No, it's like, let's have an activity together. So it makes the viewer think that these two are linked in some capacity. And she even like kind of alludes to like, and this is when he was struggling with like, I don't know, Teen Wolf, not Teen Wolf. I'm not sure. And she's like, I care about you no matter what you are, in like a knowing kind of way.
Yep.
Where you think,
you can tell me anything.
Part of the pack?
Like, even when he turns into Teen Wolf during the basketball game, afterwards, when they're getting pizza and chugging beer, they're like, hey, did you know he was Teen Wolf? As if I knew. Like, she's saying it in a way, though, they're like, yeah, of course I did.
Yeah. Or in a way where she's like, I'm trying to lie and be like, oh, Teen Wolves, those don't exist. I just found out about those.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's never brought up again.
No. Boof.
It's never brought up again can just be the subtitle of this movie.
Yeah.
So after the shirt ripper scene, Teen Wolf decides to give up the wolf and become Michael J. Fox again because he needs to believe in himself and not the wolf inside of him because there's two wolves inside of you.
No, Boix,
no. You're not. We're not letting you finish it. Just get back to the movie.
So we gotta get back to basketball because no rule says a werewolf can't play basketball, or a teen wolf that's no longer a teen wolf.
So
look, we probably shouldn't let Michael J. Fox play basketball.
So look, it's the end of the movie. They're playing basketball. The movie has ended 3 times already.
Yeah.
With The Last Dance, with the end of the play, which he just walked out of, like literally walked out of that whole thing. The dad stuff is apparently wrapped up with no repercussions in the vice principal. Boof is just tossed to the side, whatever. It doesn't matter. And we're down to just basketball.
Yeah, because nobody cares about the girl anymore. That was with Van Helsing guy.
Oh, and Van Helsing's just long gone. Like, no repercussions, no nothing.
Well, Van Helsing's still there. He's just on the other team playing basketball.
They go to the same school.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he's
what
on the
is
other
going
team for
on with this
basketball.
movie?
Yeah, now he's on the other team. So he's playing on the other team for a rival school.
Oh my god! And it's like
maybe
10 minutes of basketball.
Maybe he's just a twin. Maybe it's like this is Mick and this is his Spanish twin, Mickey.
So the movie ends on like 10 minutes of basketball where everybody but Teen Wolf makes shots and is way better at basketball than him. But Teen Wolf was such a dick, he wouldn't let his teammates play. So I have a quote from the director, by the way, because they shot a bunch of basketball for this scene. Obviously,
there's a lot of basketball. At the end.
Here's the quote. Somewhere in a vault is about an hour of the most embarrassing sports footage ever taken.
Damn it, because I was gonna use that quote too because I saw that.
Oh man,
that's a direct quote.
It is not great. There's a lot of cuts. Let me tell you, like a lot of like people receiving the ball and people throwing the ball and not ever seeing where that ball goes.
Yep.
Yes.
They tried to shoot actual footage of the actors playing basketball because Michael J. Fox suggested, hey, can we just do that? Why does it all need to be choreographed? And they threw it all away because it was totally unusable. It was awful.
My question about the quote of him saying somewhere in a vault is about an hour of the most embarrassing sports footage ever taken. Is it embarrassing because all of the actors were really bad basketball players, or was it embarrassing because he filmed it?
Yes.
Yeah.
To be fair, this is also the man that filmed Beethoven's Second.
Yeah.
So Michael J. Fox shows up at the basketball game, and he's a regular human being now because he's like, I got to put the wolf away, and we're gonna win with the power of friendship. And then that happens.
They win
and the
with the power of friendship.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
But it takes like 15 minutes of basketball to get there. I swear to God that whole scene, the whole basketball game, could have been cut in half, and I would have got it. I would have got it.
I did not care about that basketball scene at all.
Yeah, and there's no stakes. There's no like, oh, we gotta bet on the big game. You're gonna lose, McFly. There's none of that. It's just okay. Now it's the championship. All right, the game's over.
And then the game just ends on 2 free shots.
It freezes
because of a penalty foul.
Oh yeah.
From Van Helsing. And
what's
then
really
they win. Who cares?
Frustrating about this, like just to give an example, Air Bud 2, Golden Receiver. The coach is like, I'm gonna lose my job if we don't get the championship.
Right.
Air Bud Golden Receiver sets up the basketball game, sports game, better than this movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Golden Receiver does it better.
Yeah.
I will never want to say those words again.
I think
Golden Receiver did it better.
I think when the championship game happens, I think the coach says something along the lines of like, win or don't win, who cares? You know?
Yeah, who gives a shit? There's no stakes.
Yes. He does it again. Yeah, he
immediately takes all the tension out of the room.
When they're losing and they're like, oh, we're getting creamed out there, coach. He goes, yeah, well, I mean, who cares? It's ultimately just a game. Something like that.
Gives a shit, whatever.
Yeah. And
Okay.
that's when we have him come, like, Michael J. Fox strolls in and is like, no, we're going to win this. And it's like, and the coach is just kind of like, all right, sure.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit.
fine, winner is.
Like, I guess. I mean, which kind of rules for his energy. Like, I love that they have the coach like that, but then they need something else to matter. Like, they need somebody to give a shit, right? Like, doesn't
not
someone
giving a shit
somewhere
is
have
like
to care?
Not giving a shit is like the MO of every character in this movie. You don't understand. No one
The
cares.
only person that does it well is the coach and Styles.
Yeah, the coach and Styles hold this movie together.
All right. I want to end this on a bit of a quote before we get to the rating of our.
There was
wonderful
also,
Teen
I
Wolf.
just gotta say, I'd be derelict in my duty as guest host that there was also one dog.
There was one dog. Her name was
There's a
Daisy, and I wrote it down.
Yep. She sat on the lawn, and she was a very good girl.
She was a very good girl. Okay, so real quick, Bill Simmons, a sports guy who writes columns for ESPN, loved this movie and often used it as a comparison point for NBA players.
Wow.
And calling it a quote unquote thinking man's basketball film. In his best-selling nonfiction book, The Book of Basketball, he compared Kobe Bryant's career to that of Michael J. Fox's character, noting at length that Kobe had alternated between being a team player and a selfish me-first scorer, not unlike Teen Wolf, after he became the big wolf on campus. So, not only is Michael J. Fox's Teen Wolf an idol for all of us to look up to, but he is not uncomparable to that of Kobe Bryant's career.
Yeah. Teen Wolf was the beacon in the night for Kobe to grow his career.
A real thinking man movie, Teen Wolf. That makes me feel
happens
something.
in this movie. This is the second werewolf movie that you guys have made me watch where nothing happens.
Oh yeah, you watched both of our werewolf movies.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And you know what? You know what? If this is like a first conversation in like 3 conversations where you accuse me of being a werewolf, I would just prefer if you just come out and say it.
Yeah. Are you? I mean, we don't have to accuse. We know you're a Teen Wolf.
We should have brought Nick in for our other werewolf movie.
Oh, that movie blew.
You should have been a little. If you think that this one's bad, you should have seen Little Dead Riding Hood.
No, literally nobody should be subjected to asylum movies.
God,
no. Okay. Let's rate the dogs. So we talked about Daisy. Daisy is a very good dog, right?
One more thing, real quick. What? I do gotta say, the movie ends with a freeze frame of Michael J. Fox like being held up, fist in the air, and then it starts rolling the credits, and it's a freeze frame for like a second and a half, and then it just starts tripping the fuck out. Like it slows down the footage, so it's just like a frame every second, and then it starts like it does this gradually. It's like a frame every second, and then it starts layering frames on top of each other, and it is just a weird LSD fueled nightmare of a basketball game.
Teen Wolf took LSD before the end game, and him sweating very awfully again, like in the opening sequence, was because it was hitting him really hard.
Yeah.
And we see that in the credits. 2, the editor had a stroke.
Yeah, right.
Those are the only 2 things.
Just freeze frame it and fade to black.
And this is again like a really soft rock thing. Like,
oh my god,
it's a weird like soft. I wouldn't even say soft rock. It's like a soft pop song, like a very like sad boy kind of song, and you're like a heavy drama moment. Like this is the scene that the music that you'd expect from somebody dying.
It should be like We Are the Champions or Sweet Sweet Victory or some sort of like upbeat we won. No, it's just everybody's dead. We'll die.
It's a very sad soft like.
Also, what? This is game 2 of the season? Who cares?
No, this is the championship.
I don't think it was the championship.
No, it was. They said it was.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, they ended on a freeze frame. Oh, wait, no! It's not a freeze frame!
It's not a freeze frame.
Oh,
that was a weird choice.
What?
Man, this movie fucking sucks.
What?
Even at the end here, I was waiting for there to be a conflict.
There was no conflict.
This movie was like 30 minutes of solid movie, and then nothing. And then nothing happens. This podcast is a curse.
No, we know that.
And we give it on to all of our friends. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, let's finally rate the dogs. Daisy.
Yes, we need to talk about
I rate Daisy a solid 10 out of 10. A very good dog.
Yeah. Very good girl.
Daisy sits on the lawn. She gets run past by Michael J. Fox, and she just kind of is very calm and collected. She's a really nice character in this movie. She really brings that scene together. I love Daisy.
All right, let's rate Teen Wolf.
We got the dad too.
Yeah, I'm not going first.
Okay, I want to rate the dad first. Okay. I'm also going to rate the dad with a quote from the director as well. When he asked if what energy he should have for this film, he said he's a guy that knows how to make a casserole, and that is exactly his character. So
yes,
he perfect.
That's the rating.
He's got a nice sweater vest every single time. He looks like a fucking Mr. Rogers.
And when he wolfs out too, it's a very trim beard. He's got casserole energy.
It's very classy.
Casserole energy.
Casserole out of 10 for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about Teen Wolf?
Who's gonna take it first? I can take it. I got this. I got this.
All right, you got this.
Teen Wolf takes a pet like nobody else, man.
He gets a real good pet. You can definitely pet Teen Wolf in the movie Teen Wolf. It's true.
That is correct. Yeah, the teacher gives him a very good pat on the head for an A, and he just loves it. So he takes a pet like nobody's business. Teen Wolf.
I forgot about that fucking scene where being a Teen Wolf makes you good at like history.
Yeah.
Man, fuck this movie. We're done.
When you unleash the wolf, you just get real good at history. You take a pet.
I will rate Teen Wolf a Spider-Man out of 10.
Oh god.
No, he's better than Spider-Man. Spider-Man only has great responsibility.
He's like
Teen
Spider-Man.
Wolf has greater responsibility.
Yeah, he's like Spider-Man if Peter Parker never did anything with his life.
Move over, superior Spider-Man.
They
now
monetize
have greater Spider-Man.
I rate Teen Wolf monetized merch about Teen Wolf in the movie Teen Wolf out of 10.
Yeah, and they have the Teen Wolf t-shirt, the Teen Wolf button, the Teen Wolf flamethrower for the kids, the Teen Wolf shower curtains. They got so much Teen Wolf.
I want to end on one last point that I wanted to raise through this movie. How he said like the teens in this movie were like 40 years old.
Yeah.
They were actually, Michael J. Fox was the youngest at 23. Everybody else was 27, including even the woman at the party, Rhonda, one of the teens that's like siloed off with one of the guys. She was the Playboy Playmate of the Year.
Oh my god!
3 years before this movie came out.
Oh my god!
I'm throwing this out there for any aspiring filmmakers. If you're making a teen movie, do not hire playmates. Maybe don't do that.
All right.
Okay, I, Cameron Aldis, hereby state that I firmly believe that Teen Wolf 2 will be better than Teen Wolf 1.
It has to be. You can't
laying it on the line.
I mean,
watch it.
How does it get worse?
It doesn't.
Honestly,
I know.
It can't.
That's why
if it has any coherent like story or thought that finishes, it is better. And I would say that the only way they can make it worse is if it has a coherent thought that's kind of boring, and then there's no Teen Wolf antics. But how do you make Teen Wolf without Teen Wolf antics?
We have
sweet
seen
summer children.
Than this. I was gonna say we've seen a lot worse movies than this. By the way, we're really testing fate.
Oh no!
Like a lot worse movies than this. Like, oh my god, so many worse movies. Like you really have no idea.
Have I sealed our fate?
100%.
I feel like I opened the coffin and crawled in, and you grabbed the hammer and nails.
What you looking at, dicknose?
Booth, how the hell are you? Say no. No. Great talking to you.
Okay, that was good.
That was a great, like, hi doggy scene.
Yeah, hi doggy.